In you come. Somebody said inside, I think it was Zoe, around, we can do a rondo, what you call a rondo, but actually with younger kids, they might not want it to be called a rondo. You might make it piggy in the middle, like you said. You might have a name to it, a theme to it, based on what group you're working with. So this game's called The Great Escape. You're trying to escape out of something, and you can make this some castle or some island. And it might sound silly to you, but actually for kids, they buy into that, and that's what they want to do. So theme in your sessions. What do you think I'm getting you to work on? What skill? Dribbling. How could we change the task to make it a different skill? Go on. Yeah, so it might be we're working in pairs. You've got to get through, I've got to pass it to you, and in between there could be little gates and we pass through. So again, you see how you change a slight thing and it becomes from dribbling to passing? Yeah? Within my role as a coach development officer, like I said, I cover 3 counties. Within that counties, it's working with unqualified coaches all the way up to kind of UEFA B, those aspiring to get onto an A licence. So the programme varies completely. So with that in mind, I've looked to create this season different strands. So that we've got a performance coaching programme, which is for our, if you call them kind of talented coaches who are working in the England talent pathway, who maybe have a UEFA B already, but they're working with more of our elite players. So we tailor programmes to suit them and kind of get the same coach in the room, so conversation becomes kind of really meaningful. To a programme where we've got a number of level 1s at the moment in county, but not many maybe level 2s. So can we support these level 2s to either give them confidence to go on to a level 2 or give them a little bit of insight? So for example, they get so many workshops a season and lots of one-to-one support. To workshops generic, where we just get coaches in on the mass, any qualification, to network and to showcase the ideas we've got. To what you're going to see today around new coaches, they've got no qualification, but they come in, they have a 3-hour workshop to go, here's a little taster, these are also opportunities you can get involved in. Go on then, what changes would we make to the session? What did we say? Girls, you come over, like, you got some good stuff on your boards too.
Timed. So
Time?
It's like 7 seconds left.
Like that, great idea. A one-touch finish, yeah.
Carry on the zones, and it has to go across each zone, or like everybody has to touch the ball.
Okay, yeah. Remind me about that, around everyone has to touch it when we get back into the classroom, okay? The initiative is ultimately to get more coaches coached in the female game, and then to try and make those coaches better. So my role is to come up with programmes to support those coaches around recruitment, development, and then deploying them into areas where they can get better and get themselves into whatever path that may take them. Some of you might be sat here thinking, coaching's not for me. I don't like it, I don't want to do it. But after today, you might go, maybe. Some of you might be in the room and go, I'd like to be a coach. If I don't go on and make it as a footballer, I'd like to maybe be a coach or be involved in coaching in some capacity. So today is all about trying to inspire you to go on and think about coaching. So at the end, some of you might go, I really want to do a level 1. And if there's enough interest in the room to do a level 1, then we can put on a level 1 and host it at the college. So my approach to coaching coaches differ depending on the environment and where I'm at. So in my role as the coach development officer, I'll have different programmes based on the needs of what these coaches want. So if I'm in the classroom, it could be anything to design, like I've said before, designing sessions or interacting with each other or watching a game and watching it back. But it'd be planned to suit the needs of those coaches in, and I've kind of addressed the programme now to make sure that we get the right people in the room to learn off each other. So I like to make sure the stuff we do in the classroom is interactive and relatable to what they're going to do, because we could go and do lots of stuff in the classroom and it has no relevance to what they're doing out on the pitch, so it's got to make sure it's relatable. So this game up here, you can either throw it straight in, okay, or you can bounce it in. If you get it in, so if I goal it into that cup, they put the cup on the floor. The first team to get rid of all the cups wins the points. But that's the game, okay? We're going to have another team which will set up on another table over here. Then we've got a little coin game, so if it would be me against me, for example, it's whoever can get the coin closest to the end of the table without it falling off. So some of you would play the games you were just doing and you might think, this is boring. Or you're waiting in line, so there's 4 of you on one team. You have to wait to have your go, and you get one go, and then you're out of the game, and then you can't have another go again. So if you look at that in football, If we're having a really long line of 10 people and they get up and they have a shot, they go to the back of the line, is that enjoyable for the player, do you think? No. No, not really, is it? If we can get it quick pace or we can get it going on lots of times, then they get more opportunities to touch a ball and to have a go. And then when I work with coaches out on the pitch one-to-one, again, it's individualised. Some coaches go, get in as much as you want and can you speak to me whilst I'm on the pitch? And other coaches will go, can you leave me alone, but can we sit down for an hour afterwards? So it's all based on what they feel comfortable with, and I think that's really important because as a coach developer, you don't want to go out onto the pitch and be in their ear all the time when they're like, that's not how kind of I learn or how best I take on feedback. And others, if you just don't say anything to them, they may feel that they're kind of missing out or they're doing something wrong. So it's that conversation before, what do you want to get out of the session? How can I support you? So when you're on the pitch, you kind of work with them in the right way. So the important stuff probably takes place outside the pitch. If you don't get that right, then the stuff on the pitch becomes irrelevant a little bit really. So it's back to that relationship piece again.
It's fantastic. Having Abbie in, she comes in and looks after us, looks after the players as well, sort of works with me on sort of kind of bits I need to improve on, and just gives me pointers. Also we kind of bounce ideas off each other as well, so really enjoying working with her at the moment. The programme's great. It gives you an insight to lots of different things around the football that you've not really thought about before. So we've done a couple of workshops on psychology and planning sessions and individual feedback forms as well. So those kind of things you don't really get a chance to do and to plan when you're full-time working mainly on the grass. So it's great to sort of have those time with Abbie where we can just sit down and she puts those ideas in your head and kind of supports you where you're planning and trying to implement it yourself.
What one thing we're trying to get them to get better at, okay? Because we spoke inside and somebody said we'll start doing passing, then we might do a bit of dribbling, then we might do a bit of this. But what's the main focus I'm trying to get these to do and what am I trying to get them to get better at? All right, and just in the next 5 minutes, all right?
I think it's just, in terms of seeing for the players having a fantastic role model, whether Abbie's playing or coaching, just the girl seeing another female at the top level of what she's doing just inspires them. So whether they want to be a player or a coach like Abbie, just having her around really inspires those girls on the pitch and off the pitch.
I think in order to help somebody get better, you need to get to know them first as a person. Everyone's different, so everyone who's been involved in the FA Women's High Performance Centre has a different background, have a different goal to achieve, and it's important that I get to know them first as a person, understand what they want, what their needs are, and then how I cater that support might look different. Whether that's one-to-one out on the pitch, it could be in a coffee shop just helping them with confidence, it could be around session design, it could be a bigger workshop piece where you connect coaches up with other coaches to learn from each other. So it's very individualised, but for me it's about developing the relationship first, especially with female coaches, developing that relationship, making sure that they're confident and they're ready to kind of receive feedback and feel valued, I guess. This is the first time you two have properly coached together, like within this. I know you would have worked together before, but just think about like what's your role and what's your role in tonight's session, because what we might find is you might start to say something, then you want to come in and say something. So think about who does somebody lead one bit and somebody leads another bit. Are you going to lead it and are you going to look after the individuals? And once you've worked together once tonight, we can then have that conversation together later in the week around what that might look like. Just consider when you're get them playing first.
Right, ready? Bring to the back.
Just consider when you're showing them it, try and get them this side so they can see in. You know, just a little, and I know you do it sometimes, but just so they can see that and it looks like what the picture looks like and they can recognise it, just so they can reference it a little bit more.
The ball's opposite,
flip it around and then just get them so they can kind of see it as well, isn't it? A question I'll pose to both of you, Dills, come here a sec, is, so you said they have to play through the red box, in order to go forwards?
From their defensive to midfield,
yeah. So what are the greens naturally going to do? Yeah, and box around it. So just identify, like, if it works, if it's not working, what might you have to come up with, or what say might you have to come up with otherwise, or challenge?
I think Abbie's helped us as a coach through my coaching, because she's been a role model to us, so we can see that if she can do it, there's loads of female coaches that can do it, and we can take inspiration from her, what she's done with her badges. She's now at Bristol City, and we can see the pathway that you can get to.
Yeah, I think it's massive. Obviously, everyone recognises now that the game's exploded, and through the World Cup and the Euros coming up and Olympics, and the more people playing, the more coaches we need. So I think to have a group of coach development officers who are there solely to support female, not just female coaches, but coaching the female game is really important. I think it also gives role models for female players to look up to and become. I know that when I was maybe playing, there wasn't so many female role models out there to aspire to go on and know that that can become a career. So I think it's really important that we put that out there, and also to players who are playing, that they can coach and they can play, and it gives them another opportunity in the game should they not go on and make it as a player too.